Hey guys. Hello, hello. Listen, I know it's late, but I don't even care. Um, what I want you to do is if you see somebody, look, if you know somebody is up right now, I want you to share this with them. And I want you to get on here right now because what I've got to share with you is probably what you've been looking for a while and you're just not finding it. Why? Probably because I'm just not figuring it out. Okay. So tonight, y'all, I'm going to share with you guys, I'm going to tell y'all how I changed my family's eating habits without even telling them. That's right. I said it. Let me tell you again. I changed my family's eating habits without even telling them. I didn't announce a diet. I did not throw all the food away. I didn't start cooking separate meals. And I definitely wasn't going to turn my house upside down just to make this happen, simply because y'all, I need peace. If you need peace in your house, raise your hand, put a comment in the chat and just say peace, because we already know if you're married, if you're a woman, you're married, you got kids, um, you already know when it's time to eat, everybody's coming to the kitchen looking for something familiar, right? And that's how my household was at the time. But I started making small changes after my open heart surgery. And that eventually it changed the way my entire family was eating. And when I tell you, at first I was thinking, I'm like, okay, I had really made the decision. I'm gonna start doing my own meals and then I'll cook their food. And then I actually started doing that, and they started seeing what I was doing and started wanting some of that food too. And I was like, okay, hold up, because two meals was just totally too much chaos for me. I couldn't do it. I didn't want to do it. But when I tell you, they really didn't realize that I was changing the way I was cooking everybody's food. I did it so smooth. I did it so smooth. So if you're out there and you've been trying to do the same thing, you're like, I really need to change what I'm eating. And you got finicky kids. You get finicky eating kids, finicky eating. Okay, let's hold on. Finicky eating kids, but your husband or your wife is like, oh no, you better not change anything with the fried chicken. You better not change nothing about the macaroni and cheese. You better not change nothing about what you're eating, right? About how you're cooking. Now, yeah. So that's exactly what that is exactly why I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna change the way I'm cooking. So tonight, I want to welcome you to the flavor shift. And tonight isn't, I'm not going to be cooking live tonight. I really had planned on doing it, but I'm not cooking. I may not able to. And tonight, I'm just going to show you, I'm going to tell you how I really got here. Because if you've been following me for a while, you know that I had open heart surgery some years ago. And what you may not know is what happened after that surgery. So after the surgery, my good old doctors put me on a whole lot of medication, and they told me that a lot of changes needed to be made. And if I wanted to live longer, I needed to change the way I was eating. And I need to change a lot of things that was going on with my life and create a more healthier lifestyle. So, although that really sounds simple, but until you're the person sitting there and hearing it, it was almost like, okay, wait a minute, what do I do? How am I going to shift what I eat, or what how am I going to shift what my family eats? Because that was the first thing that came to my mind. If I'm eating, if my family is eating what I've been eating, they may end up the way I ended up, having emergency open heart surgery. And that's what I was thinking. But okay, okay, I said, I still got a husband, still got these kids, and my family. What does this really look like in real life if I'm going to change all of this and for everybody in the family? Because real life, y'all, we go attend things, and we'll get these, they give us the pamphlet, to make things easier. It'll give us some simple instructions. It'll tell us some do's and tell us some don'ts. Might give us some ingredients, things of that nature. But our lives are not that way. And I'm telling you right now, real life is standing in your kitchen trying to figure out what you're going to cook for dinner. And before all of this, we ate a lot. We ate like a lot of different families eat right now. We love fried foods. We love macaroni and cheese, and not just little bit of macaroni and cheese either. I'm talking about 2 bags. I used to put 6 eggs in my macaroni. I mean, like, what are we doing? That's a half a dozen of eggs. And y'all know eggs are high, right? I know. I like, seriously, 6 eggs and a macaroni and cheese. But I tell you one thing, that thing sure was good. Mm. And I'm talking about macaroni with all that cheese and butter everywhere. I know some of y'all can really relate to that because you probably, hopefully you guys aren't eating like that. I'm hoping you don't. But you know what? My green beans was one of the things I had to make changes to because they didn't even taste like green beans. I would cook them in ham hock and make sure they were salted down real good, make sure they had a lot of flavor. But by the time I finished cooking them, I had cooked the life out of them. They weren't even green anymore. They were like almost like a sage color, if you know what I mean. And and I know all this sounds a little crazy, but these are cooking habits that led to bad cooking habits led to my bad health. And I was only going to help my children and my husband go down that same road. And I didn't want to do that. But I'm telling you right now, that fried chicken, my, we used to eat the big breast this size with the bone in. And we have really made some healthy changes. And you won't believe this, but even my husband and my son, we used to eat them like this, even my daughters. But now we don't even eat that type of chicken anymore. It has to be thin sliced, and everybody only wants one. So if you don't know how to take your family and help your family to start eating better and not turn the house upside down and not have anybody mad at you, stick around. I am going to do just that because y'all eating large portions, that's just not it. It's just not it. Honestly, y'all, we didn't think we were doing anything wrong at that time because that's how we had always eaten. Then I had the surgery and suddenly I had to make a decision to change. Do I cook one meal for me, one for them, or do I just figure out how to shift a whole household again without turning it upside down? And I chose option 2 simply because I felt like it was easier and I was really ready for a different type of taste because we had been eating soul food, and the food when if you know anything about soul food, there are lots of things that you can cook, but honestly, there are a lot of things that you will never be able to taste, or that you'll never be able to have a piece of it, or have a portion of it, because you've limited yourself to only what you're used to. And that's one of the things that I mean, I grew up on soul food. I cooked my food the way my grandmother cooked it. I cooked my food the way my mom cooked it. And I think that's what a lot of us have been doing over the years. And then we find ourselves in that doctor's appointment with that really bad news. But I'm here to let you know that you can change that. You can shift your eating habits with your family without turning it upside down. So for us, it wasn't any type of dramatic overnight transformation. And I didn't walk in the kitchen and make this loud announcement, hey, everybody's eating healthy starting tomorrow. If I'd have done that, boy, I tell you, I'd have had a riot up in there. I just started changing little things, little by little. I started with the seasonings, and I didn't know about some of the seasonings. So I had to learn, like, okay, what is it that I can do? So I'm looking in my cabinet, and I'm really looking in the cabinet, trying to figure out what I have in there that's going to make this food taste differently. I go to the grocery store and I pick up a few things that I had seen on the Food Network channel. Y'all remember the Food Network channel? I do. So I've been watching that, trying to get some ideas. And I went to the grocery store, and I'm going to tell you what I picked up, y'all, because some of these seasonings, I was not using them at home. I was not using them. In my cabinet, the basic things I was using was salt, pepper, and seasoning salt. Those are the things I was using. And again, if I got to cut back on salt, I need an alternative. I need to make sure that my family's food is tasting good, because I like good food too. I am a foodie. I am a foodie. I am a foodie. So all these years I was just using the salt, pepper, seasoning salt, and that's it. I started learning about garlic powder, onion powders, Italian seasoning, rosemary, thyme, sage, and dill. And really started learning about how the flavors actually work with different foods, because this is what I discovered. Most people don't hate healthy food, they hate flavorless food. And I figured, okay, it good, because they kept saying healthy food doesn't have to be nasty. Okay, whatever you say. So instead, because another thing kept coming up, if I'm going to eat healthy, that means I got to count calories. That means I got to weigh my food. And I was like, nah, nope, not doing that. That was not something that I was willing to do. So instead of focusing all of that, I've turned my focus into great tasting food. And instead of frying everything, I started baking some things. Instead of loading every dish with butter and cheese, I started really asking myself, like, how much do I actually need of this? Because I'm sure I don't need 6 eggs in my macaroni. I'm sure I don't need 2 bags of cheese in this macaroni. And I know I'm only talking about a couple of foods that we were eating, but I want you, mind you, the foods that we were eating, they were just so unhealthy. So unhealthy. Y'all, instead of overcooking vegetables uh, and I mean this, I was overcooking vegetables. There was no life in them, no nutritional value. What I did was I learned how to cook them with a little bit more bite, and they taste good. And for about the first 2 meals that I did that were new, they weren't that good. They were kind of terrible, to be honest. They weren't good. And I'm just telling you the truth. Some of those meals made my family look at me and basically say, don't ever make that again. I remember Travis saying, now, what did you say this was supposed to be? Because it just wasn't good. And even the kids would give me feedback, and they would tell me, well, mama, maybe if it tasted, maybe if you get the flavor right, it would taste a little bit better. And I was like, okay. But every recipe that I ran across taught me something. Every meal got me a little bit closer, and every little something started happening. My family was eating healthier. I was eating healthier. Nobody felt like they didn't get enough. Nobody didn't feel like they weren't full. Before I knew it, my goal was to just eat healthier. Now I'm seeing where we're eating less. And I got worried. I was so worried about my family. I'm thinking they're not eating enough. They weren't eating enough. We had been overeating for years. Nobody in my household felt like they were being punished. Nobody was deprived. Nobody felt like they were on a diet. And that was the thing that I was trying to avoid. I was even trying to avoid it for myself, because when you're thinking about, I'm getting healthier so I can live longer. I'm going to have to diet so I can live longer. That number one, that takes the fun out of all of the cooking. And that's when I realized, wait a minute, this is not just about weight loss. This is about changing what we think about food. Food is not supposed to hurt us. Food is supposed to like require a recovery period. Food isn't supposed to require a recovery period after we eat it. Because think about this. How many of you guys eat something and then you turn around and after you finish eating, you're like, okay, now I need a nap. That's not how it's supposed to be. Food should fuel us. Food should bring people together. Food should support our health. Food should it should make us feel good. It should be delicious too. Okay? Food should really be delicious. And that's why I created the flavor shift. Not because I'm a chef, because I ain't. Not because I'm perfect, because I ain't. Not because I have all the answers. I don't. But because I lived through a health crisis and I had to figure out how to make family meals without losing all of the taste in the food. So over the next several days, I'm going to bring you in my kitchen and I'm going to show you what I cook. I'm going to show you what works, what doesn't work. I'm going to show you the seasons that I use, the ones that I swapped out, the meals that my family loves, and the meals that did have a flop. But when I give you the flop, I'm also going to give you I don't know what you call it, but I'm going to give you the thing that did turn that meal around. And now it is actually one of my family's favorite, which is pasta Alfredo. I mean, like I was using the white sauce from a jar. Now I make the white sauce. It's homemade. And I'm going to show you the same thing. If you are somebody just like me, just trying to figure it out, trying to find an easier way. And let me tell you this too. It's a whole lot cheaper than taking all them out to dinner. And I mean, yes, don't get me wrong. We did go out to dinner sometimes, but when you're at home and you need to make those changes for health wise, you're not going to have to turn your life upside down. You're not going to have to turn the house upside down. I promise you, nobody's going to get all upset and agitated because you're in there cooking healthier. They're actually going to love it. They're going to be like, Mom, what is that? So what I want you to know is if you are really wanting to do that, feed your family, take care of yourself, and still make food that tastes good, you're in the right place. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Flavor Shift. My name is Rosalind Hall, and I cannot wait to see you in the kitchen. Good night, guys.